Hello and welcome, and we start with breaking news. Gunmen are reported to have attacked a hotel in the capital of Burkina Faso in West Africa. Eyewitnesses said that 2 car bombs went off outside the Splendid Hotel in Ouagadougou. Well, one witness has told the AFP agency that several people have been killed. Dozens of guests are still believed to be inside the hotel. Masked men stormed the hotel, which is used by UN staff and Westerners. Gunfire was exchanged between the men and security forces at the scene. So details are still fluid, but let's speak to our Africa security correspondent, Tommy Oladipo, who joins us on the line now. And Tommy, as I say, details are still scarce at the moment, but what do we know?
Well, we know that this attack happened late Friday evening in Ouagadougou. There are pictures of cars on fire being circulated on social media. Witnesses saying they heard gunfire and blasts from within the building, and it's believed that there was a hostage situation as well. No confirmation in terms of casualties. Security forces have been deployed around the area. An Air France flight, which was flying to Ouagadougou, was unable to land and has been diverted since. So still a tense situation there. Burkina Faso is a country which has gone through a lot recently. It has a brand new president. He was just, he just assumed office at the end of December. So huge challenge for him right at the start of his term.
Yes, absolutely. And in terms of the actual hotel itself, the Splendid Hotel, we know that it's used by UN staff, used by Westerners, a large hotel, 147 rooms.
Yes, indeed. This is the kind of hotel where you find, as you say, a lot of expatriates there. This attack is reminiscent of the attack on the Radisson Blu Hotel in Bamako, in neighboring Mali, which happened a few weeks back. So this is a kind of prime target for Islamic extremists. So far, we don't know who is behind this attack, but just in the jihadist monitoring group called SITE, S-I-T-E, has just said that Al-Qaeda in the Maghreb is saying it's behind this attack. We cannot independently verify that claim, that report right now, but that sort of goes with what we know about such attacks on establishments where Westerners frequent.
Yes, indeed. And just to clarify, we can't verify that. That's just information that's coming in, but we can't clarify that. Of course, we're monitoring it all the time. Also, unclear yet as to whether there have been any casualties.
No reports, no confirmations on casualties, but eyewitnesses are saying that there have been some. It's still a very tense situation at the moment, so it's very difficult to verify that. Usually, the casualty numbers will be known sort of after the situation has calmed down. But as we know, there's still a standoff. There's still security forces around the area, around the building as well.
Yes, indeed. And you were talking, Tommy, about the new president that took over recently. And of course, this is a largely this is a country that has been in such turmoil following that ousting in 2014 of the previous president. This is a lot to take in for the new president.
Yes, indeed. Burkina Faso is a poor country. It's one that's had problems with stability in recent times. So yes, definitely the government having its hands full, barely having taken office. But I believe that this government will receive a lot of support, for example, from France, which is an ally, as well as the region, the West African regional bloc, ECOWAS, will be keen to support in this kind of situation, as we've seen them express a lot of interest in the recent happenings in the country. So definitely a lot for this country to worry about at the moment. But at the same time, if it is indeed an Islamist extremist attack, it's likely that this will then have to bring Burkina Faso into the spotlight, just like its neighbor Mali, which has been a haven for these kinds of attacks. So that will be a lot for the regional forces and the regional countries and bodies to consider in terms of the spread of Islamist extremism in the region.
Yes, Tommy, a lot to bear in mind there. But for the time being, we'll continue to monitor the situation until we get any more concrete information. Our security correspondent, Tommy Oladipo, there speaking to us on the phone. And like I say, we'll continue to monitor that situation from the capital of Burkina Faso. But for the time being, now let's bring you up to date with some of the day's other news stories. Neda Tawfik there reporting. Now we're going to go back to our breaking news from Burkina Faso, from the capital, Ouagadougou. We've got some latest pictures from the Associated Press news agency of that attack on one hotel, I beg your pardon, and a nearby restaurant. We are being told by the French ambassador via the French ambassador's Twitter account that a curfew has now been in place in the Burkina Faso capital from 2300 GMT to 6 in the morning local time. So a curfew has been put on in the capital. That's according to the French ambassador's Twitter account, from 11 o'clock, so 10 minutes ago local time, to 6 in the morning. And of course, we're still trying to verify whether any people have been killed in this attack, which is taking place on a 4-star hotel, the Splendid Hotel in Ouagadougou, and also on a restaurant in Burkina Faso's capital. We're trying to confirm, and we're also hopefully going to be speaking to some people on the ground as well. Now let's go back to the situation, the developing situation in Ouagadougou, the capital of Burkina Faso. We're talking about the gunmen who've attacked a hotel which is being used by Westerners. Our latest pictures now show that this is a developing situation, a continuing situation. We can speak live now to Cynthia Oion, who is an expert on Burkina Faso, and she's with the International Crisis Group, and she joins us from the capital. Cynthia, now I do know that you're not near the hotel, but you can just tell us a little bit more about what you are aware of what's happening.
Well, yes, I mean, as you said, it's a developing situation, so we don't have a lot of information, there's a lot of information coming in, so it's still not clear. Apparently, there are hostages in the hotel, and security forces are trying to stage an assault to basically put an end to the situation. So I think we could probably expect that in the next few hours, at the most, that things will become clearer, and then we'll have more information. There's been a claim by Akim, which is Al Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb, which is an Islamist terrorist group that's present in the region.
Yes, and these are claims that we can't verify at the moment, and also suggestions that some people have been killed as well. But that's again something that we are trying to verify at the moment. Cynthia, in terms of the background to Burkina Faso, we've recently had a new government put in. Tell us a little bit about how stable this country is and your experience of it.
Well, yes, I mean the country is slowly coming out of political turmoil, of a one-year transition after a regime that lasted for 27 years under President Blaise Compaoré. The election went peacefully, and the new government is just starting to get to work. It was just appointed this week. And so, we're still in the context of political fragility. So obviously, I think this attack, the timing of this attack obviously is meaningful, and that's just going to be one more very difficult issue to handle. At the same time, this was to be expected. It's not, it's obviously the most, it's an unprecedented attack in the history of the country, but there has been smaller scale attacks by the border. The country has a very long border with Mali and Niger, and we know that there are such armed groups that are present at the border of these countries. And so, I think this was probably something that we had coming.
Yes, because Mali has had a very troubled past in terms of these type of attacks. When we look at Burkina Faso, though, as you say, it's had that government for 22 years. Blaise Compaoré now ousted, and now we have this very, very recent new government put in. Are they popular, do you think? Are people welcoming?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
How is this new government, how is it seen by the people of Burkina Faso?
Well, I mean, I think people are very enthusiastic that finally the political transition is over, that the Compaoré regime is over, and there are high expectations, obviously, especially in terms of social demands and reviving the economy. But I think people, just want political stability now. They just want a government that will get to work and start solving their, issues of access to services and employment. And so I think, having this weak security context, I think is not going to help this, because obviously it's going to divert resources and energy and attention away from people's, everyday problems.
And Cynthia, your group, the International Crisis Group, is there describe to the capacity in which your work is there.
Is there, sorry?
Describe to us the type of work that your organisation, the International Crisis Group, does there. We follow the political situation, and we try to alert on different risks, and we also work in the region. And so, as I was saying, it's not quite surprising that this, instability and insecurity is spreading, especially as the borders are porous. Okay, well, Cynthia Oyon from the International Crisis Group speaking to us live from Burkina Faso's capital, Ouagadougou, where that ongoing situation is being monitored by all of us. We'll, of course, bring you up to date with any developments and confirmations as and when we get that. So do stay with us here on BBC World News. Cynthia, thank you.